What up, Opinioneers? My name is Connor Brown. I'm a former Walt Disney World cast member, an author, blogger, travel agent, and a Walt Disney World expert. And my passion is to help you plan for and daydream about your next perfect Walt Disney World vacation. And you are listening to a brand new show from Wdw Opinion. It's called News to Opinion. If you are a longtime listener of the show, you know that our original podcast episodes included a segment called News to Opinion. And during that segment, we talked about the latest Walt Disney World news and then shared our opinions on the news stories and what they meant for us as Disney fans. So it was a segment during the show itself. We did that for a while, and then I started to do a weekly live show on Facebook where I covered the news. That lasted for a little while. So, we did it in part of the podcast. We did it as a live show on Facebook. But now I figured, since there's always so much Disney parks news going on, maybe we should bring it back. Maybe we should bring back the news story in a new kind of way. So, WDW Opinion's News to Opinion is going to be its own weekly news show coming to this very podcast feed. Same WDW Opinion podcast feed, new show, and it's also going to be streaming on our YouTube page at youtube.com/WDW Opinion. This is a weekly show. It'll be coming out every Thursday, and these are really just going to be solo shows. It's just going to be me delivering the news, sharing my opinions on it. I want to incorporate your opinions on the news stories in this show as well, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But each week, I will break down the most important news stories. I'm going to give you the facts, just the facts, ma'am, and then give you the opinions on it. A couple weeks ago, I did a breaking news episode on Disney Genie, the Disney Genie program, and I got a lot of great feedback from you all out there and a lot of great support around that show. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who reached out unsolicited and for all the nice things you said about that kind of show. Giving me that sort of feedback really inspired me to start on this new endeavor. So for now, we've got 2 shows a week on this podcast feed. The WDW Opinion Podcast, which will come out Tuesdays. That's still going to focus on trip planning, interviews, opinions around attractions and restaurants, dining reviews, trip reports, all that fun stuff. And then News to Opinion, which comes out on Thursdays, where I break down news stories and share my opinions on them. I hope you like that new feature. I hope you like my sunglasses as well. I'm wearing them. You can check them out over on our YouTube version of this show. I wore these bad boys, these sunglasses, which, funny enough, I actually bought outside of Pirates of the Caribbean in Adventureland in Magic Kingdom because I went on Space Mountain and I had my Ray-Bans just kind of hanging on my polo shirt, and they got knocked off. In Space Mountain. So I needed a pair in a pinch. So I bought these outside of Pirates of the Caribbean. But I wore them on a show a couple weeks ago, the Luca review episode we did. And I had some other friends suggest, hey, maybe you should always wear those sunglasses when you do a solo show. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. It's going to be like my branding kind of thing. Like, I'm too cool for school to wear these, I'm wearing sunglasses indoors. It is sunny out, but it's going to be my thing because I'm cool like that. I'm all for it. It's my branding, whatever. Without further ado, let's get into the show because we have news stories, and this is News to Opinion for the week of September 16th, 2021. Our first news story actually came out a couple weeks ago, but I haven't gotten around to commenting on it in public. And since this is my show, I'm going to do it now. because I can control the stories we're going to talk about. But of course, it is a big one because it covers annual passes for Walt Disney World. Annual passes are now available again for purchase at Walt Disney World. On August 30th, Disney announced that new annual passes for Walt Disney World would be going on sale on September 8th. Additionally, with it, a new annual pass program with 4 new types of passes would be debuting on September 8th as well. Now, during the pandemic, Disney had halted the sale of new annual passes. If you were already an existing annual pass holder, you could still renew your pass, but you could not purchase a new one. So for me, my annual pass had like 4 extra months added onto it because the parks were closed. It was up for renewal, but since the parks were closed for 4 months, I got an additional 4 months added to my expiration date. That pushed it further out. And then once that expiration date actually came around, I was still able to renew. But now, if you were never in that category, if you never had an annual pass and you want to buy one now, you're able to do so. There are 4 new annual passes. The Disney Pixie Dust Pass is $399 plus tax. You can hold up to 3 park pass reservations at a time. It has the most blackout dates, and it is available to Florida residents only. The Disney Pirate Pass is $699 plus tax. You can hold up to 4 park pass reservations at a time. Fewer blackout dates when compared with the Pixie Pass. Still only available to Florida residents. The Disney Sorcerer Pass is $899 plus tax. You can hold up to 5 park reservations at a time. Only like the 2 weeks. They have blackout dates, but it's really the only 2 weeks of like Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. Those are really the only blackout dates for that. This pass is available to Florida residents and DVC members only. And then the final one, the Mac Daddy of them all, the Disney Incredipass. Incredipass is $1,299 plus tax. No blackout dates. You can go into the parks 365 days a year. 5 park pass reservations you're allowed to hold at any one time. And anyone can buy this. It's not restricted to Florida residents or DVC members. Anyone can buy it. So if we put it into the old terms, like the old terms meaning the old annual passes we used to have, the Pixie Dust Pass is the old Weekday Select Pass. So this was a previous Florida-only pass where you could really just go into the parks on the weekdays. Weekends were blacked out for you. If you take the Pirate Pass, that's the old Silver Pass that they had for a little bit. Sorcerer Pass, that's the old Gold Pass, which was only available to DVC and Florida residents, I believe. And then the Incredipass is what used to be called the Platinum Pass. So it still pretty much works out the same way. One thing to note is that annual pass holders, they no longer get Photo Pass included with their annual pass. You used to be able to, download as many Photo Pass photos as you wanted. Now, that's an additional add-on that can be added on to any pass for $99 extra. And then the water park and sports option can be added on to any pass for $99 extra as well. With the annual pass, you still get standard theme park parking included, so you don't have to pay for parking anytime you go to the parks. You get savings of up to 20% on dining and merch, and then the annual pass, it still works like a park hopper. You're going to need to get that first park pass reservation for the day, whatever it's for. You have to go into that theme park, and then starting at 2 o'clock, you can hop to any of the other parks based on availability. So you're still able to do that. Additionally, Disney announced that there is a new integrated calendar for park passes, and that lets you check availability easier than before. And that's also where you can see if there are bonus passes available. And the bonus pass is something new that Disney is doing. Bonus passes, they won't count towards your allotment. So, for example, the Pixie Dust Pass, you could only have 4 park passes on your Pixie Dust Pass at any one time. 3 park passes at any one time. These bonus passes are going to be kind of spread out throughout the calendar. You don't know when they're going to come up. I think it's really just going to be Disney looking ahead and saying, hey, there's really no one in Epcot next Wednesday. Let's open that up as a bonus pass day. And then you can grab that bonus pass, but you can still have your regular allotment. It doesn't count towards the 3, the 4, or the 5 park pass allotment that you have. And additionally, those are just for going into the park during the day when you don't have a hotel reservation. If you have a hotel reservation, you can book a park pass for the length of your stay. So if you're staying at a hotel in Disney World, Disney owned and operated, and you're an annual pass, and you're staying there for 10 days, you can book all 10 days in a park based on availability, and then you can still get your other 3, 4, or 5 park passes that you get with your annual pass. You can book those down the road, weeks later, months later, whenever. Don't book them at all. Those two act separately. So if you're staying on property at a Walt Disney World hotel and you're an annual pass holder, you can get as many park passes as the days you're staying there. But if you're not staying on property at a Disney hotel, then you have up to 3, 4, or 5, depending upon the annual pass that you select. But again, these bonus reservations are open only to annual pass holders, and it's kind of like a little perk Disney is saying or giving people. That's the news on the annual pass tiers. Now here's my opinion on it. And I'll first start by saying I'm actually quite all right with this. I'm quite all right with this. When we look at it from a price perspective, I think it's still priced appropriately. Now, of course, when this news came out, the internet, the Walt Disney fan internet, exploded collectively. Their minds went... I don't know how that's going to come over. That wasn't the best sound effect. I did that personally. I didn't hit my keypad here that has a lot of sound effects synced up because I don't know which one is which. But that was me trying to do an exploding sound. So that was me explaining that. Everyone's head exploded. Not everyone's, but a lot of people's head exploded based on prices, based on, oh, you're still going to have to do park pass availability. You're still going to have to book those, blah, 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 blah. Upon further review, I'm really all right with this. Again, when I look at the price, I had the Disney Gold Pass, which is now the Sorcerer Pass. I think overall that might have gone up $100. But since I already have an AP, when I renew, I still get the renewal discount. So next year when I renew into this program, I might have to pay like an extra $50, $60, $70 than I did the year before, but I'm okay with that. That's fine. That's the cost of doing business. For the amount of times that I go each year, this price I am 100% okay with. Again, I go a lot. But when I compare the price to a one-day ticket, a one-day theme park ticket with Park Hopper, I think $899 is a great deal. Now, I am, of course, in the camp where I believe the current admission prices still justify the worth of the parks. There's plenty of people out there that might not agree with me. They might think, no, the price to get in for one day is still too expensive. It's too much. Then, they're saying it's not worth it. Then I can get where you're going to say $899 is too much. For me, it's not. I think it's still great value for what you're paying. But again, I am also a DVC member, so I have access to the Sorcerer Pass. A Sorcerer Pass, only available for Florida residents and Disney Vacation Club members. The vast majority of people will only have access to the IncrediPass, which at $1,299, that can seem a little steep. It can seem very steep when you use this example. I went on the travel agent website because I am a travel agent and I can help you book your next Walt Disney World vacation. Reach out to me, Connor, C-O-N-O-R, at wdwopinion.com, and I can help you book with my free-to-use services. I went on the travel agent website and I said, all right, I'm going to price out a 10-day ticket. 10-day ticket, that's the most amount of days you can have on a multi-day ticket without it being an annual pass. Disney will only let you buy up to 10 days on your ticket. I know for our UK residents out there, UK people have access to tickets with more days, but that option is only available to UK residents because they know people from the UK, when they're able to come back to Walt Disney World, they stay for weeks. They stay for weeks. They need tickets bigger than 10 days. For us in the States, the highest multi-day ticket you can buy, 10 days. I went in and I priced out a 10-day ticket starting on April 20th, 2022. I picked April just because I thought, spring break is kind of a busy time. April's pretty busy, so I knew that prices were going to be higher for that sort of day. So I just wanted to get like a baseline of the busy times. A 10-day ticket started on April 20th, 2022. That ticket with park hopper option comes out to $720.22. So if a 10-day park hopper costs that, then you would have to go a lot to justify paying nearly double for the Incredipass. The Incredipass is $1,300 plus tax. It's basically $1,400 you're going to pay for the Incredipass. But if a 10-day park hopper is $720, then if you double that and you were to get 2 10-day park hoppers, that's basically the same price as an annual pass. So I would have to go 20 days to justify buying an annual pass. I would have to spend 20 park days out of the calendar year in a Walt Disney World theme park to justify paying $1,299 on the Incredipass based on that pricing out of a 10-day park pass hopper. But that's not the right comparison to make. Because with date-based tickets, the more days you add on, the cheaper each individual day gets. So a 10-day park hopper in April might cost $720.22, but a 5-day park hopper in April costs $623.64. So for an extra $98, you get 5 extra days on your ticket. The 10-day park hopper is only $98 more than the 5-day park hopper. Disney date-based multi-day tickets aren't the right thing to be comparing an annual pass to for this reason. Because you can't compare a 10-day park hopper. What? I just lost my train of thought. You know what? Bear with me. This is a new show, so whatever. You also can't compare them because a 10-day park hopper must be used in a 14-day window. So if I buy a 10-day park hopper on April 20th, I have to use all 10 days by May 3rd, or I will lose the remaining days on it. You have 2 weeks to use that 10-day ticket. 2 weeks, by definition, does not an annual pass make. An annual pass is intended to be used on multiple trips. If you buy a 10-day ticket in January, you can't use 5 days in January and then use 5 days in April when you are coming down again. It doesn't work like that. So that's why we can't compare a 10-day ticket to an annual pass. We can't compare if I buy a 10-day ticket here and a 10-day ticket here. Maybe you can. Maybe you can start saying, well, I'm going to buy a 10-day ticket for my January trip. I'm going to use all 10 days. And I'm also going to buy a 10-day ticket for my April trip. I'm going to use all 10 days. Okay. Then maybe, that makes sense. That maybe you're able to do that. But because you can only use a 10-day ticket in a 14-day window, you're super, super limited. And because a 5-day ticket is only $98 cheaper than a 10-day ticket, the numbers are skewed when comparing it to an annual pass. What you really need to do is look at how much a 1-day park hopper ticket is. A 1-day park hopper ticket at Walt Disney World starts at $174. Now, I will give you that. That price is ridiculous. That price is insane. That's why multi-day tickets are the way to go. That 1-day ticket with park hopper is $174 a day. But by the time you get to a 10-day park hopper, it averages out to about $60 a day. It slashes in half because Disney wants you to go to the parks more. They want you to spend more money in the parks, have more fun in the parks. So that 1-day park hopper ticket is a crazy number. It's a crazy number. But if you take that $174 and you multiply it by 8, you get $1,392. So if you're getting the Incredipass, you will have to go in the parks on at least 8 separate days throughout the year to get your money worth. 8 separate days. The annual pass is created with one thing in mind: to give you the flexibility to go multiple times throughout the year. You don't want to buy an annual pass just for one trip. Doesn't make sense. But you really have to look at how many times you plan to go each year and determine what would be more practical. Multi-day tickets for each trip or an annual pass. For some, the annual pass, it's like this exclusive club. You want to be a part of it. You want to get in the country club. You want to do it. But really what you need to do is put all that aside, put the exclusivity aside, and sit down and think, is this going to be worth it? Is this going to be worth it based on my traveling schedule to the parks? For me, since this is my life, I have no other life. This is it. You're looking at it, baby. I go enough, and because I'm a DVC member and I can get that specific pass, the price is more than worth it. For others, it might not be. But the best part, the absolute best part about all of this is that you, as a human being, are entitled to make your own decisions around this. If you want an annual pass, then go get one. If you don't want one, don't get one. But if for you, it doesn't make sense to go out and get an annual pass, then you do not get to go out and criticize others for buying ones. Do not judge the actions of others based on your personal decisions. Because this is where all this news gets crazy. It's when things are being offered that might not make sense to one person, and because it doesn't make sense to you as one person, people feel that it shouldn't be available to anyone at all. That's crazy. That's crazy. I can't stand the people who say, you know what? If we all band together and we don't buy annual passes, then Disney's going to be forced to lower the prices. They're going to be forced to add PhotoPass back on. We'll be forced to get rid of the Park Pass if we just band together. I got a newsflash. That's never, ever, 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 ever going to happen. Years ago, my dad was on this gigantic email chain with, like hundreds of people. It was with his friends from college, and it just kept getting shared and shared and shared. And the whole premise was, if we all band together, everyone on this chain, and we don't buy gas from Exxon Mobil, if we go to Sunoco or Valero or 7-Eleven or whatever, if we don't go to Exxon, the biggest provider of gas in America, they're going to be forced to lower their prices. We can do this. We can do this. Go to somewhere else. That did not work. That did not work at all. I think it lasted with my dad for like a month, and he's like, you know what? This is just too inconvenient. I'm not saying people in the Disney community can't stick to that, but if you love Walt Disney World, you want to go to Walt Disney World, right? You're not going to be able to band enough people together to do that thing. But also, you're coming at it like everyone is not okay with this decision. And it's really not that big of a deal compared to the other annual passes that we've had for years and years and years. Does it suck that there's no more photo pass on it? Yeah, it sucks. But I can say in the 5 years that I've been an annual pass holder, I probably downloaded 5 photo pass photos. For $99, you can put it on one person in your family's annual pass, and you can just make sure that they scan all the time. It won't work on ride vehicles, that's for sure, because you're gonna have to be in the same cart, and the ride vehicle photo pass thing, it's not the best anyway. It doesn't work too often. It doesn't work enough of the time, I think, to justify the cost. But if you go up to a cast member in certain situations, photo pass photographer, as long as it's on one person's annual pass and you scan that band, that ticket every single time, then you have pictures for everyone. That does suck. But what also aggravates me are those comments from people who just seem to yell for the sake of yelling. I had one comment on an Instagram post I did. It was the post about Disney Genie. And this guy comments, F the Genie. Seriously. My wife and I are considering selling our DVC because of this. Absolutely ridiculous. I was like, all right, that's bold. Something that you don't have to opt into in Disney Genie that costs $15 a day. You're thinking about selling a piece of real estate in Disney Vacation Club. Bold. That's bold. I like it. So I politely commented, wow, that's a big life decision. Have you thought about maybe waiting and seeing when Disney Genie debuts to see if it really has that big of an impact? Have you thought about maybe just doing that before you make this big decision to go and sell your DVC? I just wanted to know. And of course, the guy never responded because he didn't have a response to that. Because he was screaming just to scream. Then the next week or so, I post about annual passes in Walt Disney World. And the same guy, he DMs me and says, this is ridiculous. Disney is pricing out their biggest fans. We're done. And that's true. Disney's getting more expensive. They're pricing people out. That's true. But they're not pricing everyone out. They're not pricing the world out. And I said, oh, are you an annual pass holder who isn't going to renew because of these price increases? And he goes, well, we were annual pass holders, but like a long time ago. We haven't been annual pass holders recently at all. So I'm like, what are we talking about here? Disney already lost you as an annual pass holder for whatever reason. They lost you 5 years ago. And you're complaining about this new offering, which again, the prices from what the old annual passes were to now is not that big of an increase at all. At all. But this guy went out of his way, took time out of his day to yell on Instagram posts about this new thing that he's not even going to participate in. It's so weird to me. People seem to be so up in their arms, but they can't seem to have the precise reason for why they're so upset. I can't, can you off the top of your head recall the exact numbers that annual passes used to be? No. I know it's fairly similar. I didn't look at any of these numbers and was like, whoa, that's crazy. I said, it seems pretty normal. There was a comment from someone on my annual pass post that I did on Facebook that said, this is far too expensive now. We are done with Disney. And I commented, I seriously wanted to know this. What was the tipping point for you? What price would you be willing to pay? And she never responded. She probably never responded because she doesn't know. She doesn't know what the price is. She doesn't know what the price is. They have sticker shock. They have sticker shock. But they don't know what the price they're willing to pay is. I get it. Disney is expensive. Disney has always been expensive. It hasn't always been for the masses, right? You always had to pay to go in. That was always a prerequisite. Back in the day, you had a set number of rides you could go on with your admission. If you wanted to go on more than that, you paid more. If you went through your ticket book and then you wanted to ride more, you paid again for another ticket book. And you could keep doing that as much as you want, but you paid every time you needed a new ticket book. It's always been like that. But now, I think we have the ability to voice our opinions much more in the social media world. But it's so weird because we think they're taking things away from us, which some things they are. But like I said in the Disney Genie episode, Cinderella Castle is still there. Big Thunder Mountain is still there. We still have our 4 theme parks. The essence of the parks are still there. We just have to take a moment and think about, what are we getting so angry about? My favorite comment of all of this was I had one person say, we are Florida annual pass holders, but these park passes are the reason we are no longer becoming annual pass holders again. I used to be able to show up whenever I wanted at the parks, and now I can't. It used to be flexible, but no longer. These park passes ruin the magic, and that's why this is the last you'll be hearing from us. That was an actual comment. The park passes. The park passes, which take 15 seconds, I know because I did one before this to test and I timed myself, takes 15 seconds to book a park pass. That's why this lady is no longer being a Florida annual pass holder. Because it takes them 15 seconds, and that's not flexible enough. Stay true to your beliefs. I love it, right? I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Bunch of chicanery. But if that's the hill you want to die on, whew, you go right ahead. You go right ahead. Here's why Park Pass isn't going away. Because it makes perfect sense for Disney. They're able to, manage the crowds better, but more importantly, they're able to forecast and see how many people do we need on this day in the parks working. How much food do we need to order for this week based on numbers that we have of people coming in? And annual pass holders are the big reason. With date-based tickets, Disney knows we have this number of hotels filled. We have this many tickets sold for these days. That's great. But with annual pass holders, they could show up whenever. Now, this is a thing that Disney uses to make sure they have the right staffing, to cut costs where they can, to make more money where they can make more money, but still keep the parks open, obviously. I think park passes aren't going to go away anytime soon. I don't think they need to. I think it's really super easy to get them. I think with the exception of, I look on the calendar right now, October 1st and October 2nd are the only 2 days really that are totally blacked out. Like you can't get a park pass no matter what your ticket is. because of the 50th anniversary, because of what's going on during those 2 days. But every other day, it's good. You can get what you want to get. So I don't think that that's the reason to stop this. I think this is what it is, and we're going to figure out ways to hack the Park Pass system to get the best tips and tricks about it, and we'll share it with you. We'll share what secrets we know about it and why this all seems to work so well. So again, I mean, we're just talking about things that we think are a huge inconvenience, but when we actually think about them, they're not. And that's not a reason to not be an annual pass holder anymore. Getting a Park Pass reservation, because you have to do that. We truly love the place. We'll do whatever we have to get there. It's just all very interesting when people comment the way that they do, I guess. And for the person who did say, you know what, this is the last year, it's too expensive for me now, I really do feel for that person who really wants to do it, who just can't, they're not able to. I do think it really, really sucks. But I also think that the vast majority of people are yelling just to yell. They're yelling for another reason or whatever, because they like to be angry, or rather they like to be heard. The best part about that person's comment about how you will rue the day, right? This is the last you'll be hearing from us, about how there have been Florida APs, but they're not going to do it because they have to do park passes. The best part about that person's comment was then someone else just commented on it, LOL, like, haha. And then the person who was the original commenter was like, you're going to be hearing from your true fans now. You have made a huge mistake, and you will hear from us when we no longer show up. And I just commented, I just want to let you know that this is a third-party blog. I'm not affiliated with Disney at all. And then the original poster just gave me a thumbs up on that, commented, and then deleted all their previous posts. So that's what we're dealing with here. You know? People who think they're commenting on supposed former annual pass holders commenting on third-party blogs, thinking it's actually Disney listening. It's a good brain trust. It's a good brain trust. But I do love that mentality of, you've made a big mistake and you will be hearing from us. I will lead the uprising. Settle down, Karl Marx. We're talking about theme parks here, people. Right? Also, the original post by that person, littered with grammatical errors. I'll tell you this much. Karl Marx's pamphlets, meticulously edited. Meticulously edited. Rule number 1, when leading an uprising, know the difference between there, and there, and know when to use which. We can all get mad all we want, but Disney does things very strategically. They are in the business of making money. They invest a lot of money into research to determine if their future decisions will make even more money. And that's what this is. What company surveys their customers more than Disney? I don't know. I haven't come across them. But I sit down at a restaurant and I get an email from Disney saying, could you please complete a survey about this? Every time I call the Disney travel agent line, they ask me to complete a survey about the cast members, about the process, about all of it. They invest millions of dollars into the research to see if they raise prices a little, will that deter a lot of people from not coming anymore? And what their research showed was this: if they fine-tune it and things like that, it won't. So people complained. And what happened when annual passes went on sale? there was a huge line at Disney Springs for people who were buying annual passes in person on the first day that they could. There were people on hold on the phones for hours with Disney wanting to buy their annual passes. I knew many groups of people who moved to Florida during the pandemic and haven't been able to buy an annual pass up until right now. People complained, but even more people took action and bought an annual pass. And that's what you get. You get a lot of people complaining, but you get even more people doing what they're able to do. Again, I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong. Buying an annual pass is right or not buying an annual pass is right. I don't know. It's for each person. You personally get to make that decision. But if your decision doesn't align with someone else's decision, you do not get to criticize them for that. You need to sit down and think, what is best for me and my family? How many times will we go? Does it make sense to buy this or not? It's your decision and only your decision to make. And the decisions other people make are not yours to comment on. Now, that's all hunky-dory. But I will express my anger for one aspect of the new annual passes. And I cannot stand this part of them. This naming convention is whack as hell. It's wiggity whack. They make no sense what these annual passes are called now. No sense. Before, it was very simple to understand. You had Weekday Select at the bottom. You could only get in on the weekdays, all the way, lowest tier. But from there, it was a very easy to use sequential order, right? You had Silver Pass at times. And then the next highest above it, that was the Gold Pass. And then above the Gold Pass, Platinum Pass. And above the Platinum Pass, Platinum Plus. Super easy, great sequential ordering. Love it. Now, these names make as much sense as a polar bear in Hawaii. That is to say, they don't make any sense. If you see a polar bear on a beach in Hawaii, you think, that doesn't make any sense. These names don't make any sense. It goes Pixie Dust, Pirate, Sorcerer, Incredipass. How is Pixie Dust lower than a criminal, aka a pirate? I'm sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can fly with Pixie Dust. The only thing a pirate can do is be tried for crimes against humanity. You can't do that with Pixie Dust, that's true. How is a pirate higher than Pixie Dust? Pixie Dust is magic, pirate is not. Also, I can't get in to the parks on the weekends with the Pixie Dust Pass. I'm blocked out. The Pixie Dust Pass doesn't let you in on the weekends. Doesn't sound very magical to me. Does sound like something a pirate would do. Sorry, you can't come in on Saturday. Sunday reserved for God. I don't know. I don't know what religion pirates are, or if they're a religion at all. Their religion is booty, and I mean gold. And then we have the Sorcerer Pass. Ooh. Which is followed by the Incredipass. When we're talking about the Incredipass, is Disney referring to the Incredibles in that scenario? Incredipass? Incredibles? If so, is a superhero more powerful than a sorcerer? I don't know. I'm not sure. But even if I was sure, I wouldn't be 100% sure. Sure enough to put it above a sorcerer, right? Doctor Strange seems to be a sorcerer. He also seems to be a superhero. Seems pretty powerful to me, but would he beat Mr. Incredible in a fight? When it comes to the naming of this annual pass, it appears that Dr. Stephen Strange did not win that fight. But then if it's not a reference to the Incredibles, Is it just a reference to the word incredible? If so, why did we all of a sudden go from nouns like pixie dust, pirate, and sorcerer to an adjective? The highest annual pass is just an adjective. But what really infuriates me, and I'm going to get really close to the camera for this, what really infuriates me is the fact that we went from pixie dust pass, pirate pass, sorcerer pass to Incredipass. The first three passes were multiple words. Why does the final one? Why is it only one word all of a sudden? One word with a dash. It's not even a real word. Incredipass. I'm speechless. Why did they put it together like that? It doesn't make any sense. You had three normal words in the Disney lexicon. Now, granted, the structure of the hierarchy still doesn't make sense. And then all of a sudden, final one has to be Incredipass or made up word with a hyphen in between everything. I honestly hate it because I'm never going to remember which one I am. I think mine converts to a Sorcerer Pass. I'm not sure. We'll have to check the playbook on that. Hopefully they put a sticker on the back of the thing because I got no idea. That whole thing infuriates me. And it's so weird because this comes from the company who the last few years has been naming every restaurant or every hotel what they serve or what they cater to in the title. They've tried to be like as explicit as humanly possible. The new restaurant at the top of Grand Destino Tower, what's that called? It's not called Toledo. It's called Toledo, Tapas, Steak, and Seafood. Okay. The new restaurant at the top of the Riviera, it's not called Topolino's Terrace. No, it's called Topolino's Terrace, Flavors of the Riviera. The new DVC resort we were going to get that was in between the Wilderness Lodge and Fort Wilderness. It wasn't going to be called Reflections. No, it was going to be called Reflections, a lakeside retreat. To let you know, it's a retreat, it's by a lake, but it's also a hotel. And now they go to this pass structure that makes no sense at all. I really, really hate it. It's bonkers to me. Bonkers. But that's not going to prevent me from buying one. I'm still going to buy one. The Sorcerer Pass, whatever it is. I do also like the retro design that they're going with for this new branding. It's got the old school Walt Disney World logo, the big D with the circle. Looks really, really cool. Looks really, really cool. So there you go. There's my rant/opinion on annual passes. The next story we're going to talk about, two new restaurants coming to Walt Disney World because menus for Steakhouse 71 and for Space 220 have been officially released. Steakhouse 71 is located on the first floor of Disney's Contemporary Resort. It will open its doors on October 1st for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and the Disney Parks blog is excited to give readers the first look at all the menus. Disney Parks blog say the chefs created a terrific dinner menu with all the hallmarks of a family-friendly steakhouse, and offerings at breakfast and lunch are unique and delicious. They also give a nod to Walt Disney with contemporary spins on some of his favorite foods. Kids get to be creative with their meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They can choose an entree, select 2 sides, and a drink from a menu that includes oatmeal with dried cranberries. What kid's going to order that? None of them. And Mickey-shaped waffles for breakfast. Peanut butter jelly wings, and cheeseburgers for lunch and dinner. They can even create their own ice cream sundae. Our talented mixologists and sommeliers have crafted fabulous alcoholic and non-alcoholic libations offered in Steakhouse 71 to enjoy when you are dining. So I'm going to read some of the options for Steakhouse 71 with you today. So for breakfast, And again, this place is taking over where the Wave used to be in the Contemporary. It's going to be called Steakhouse 71 now. For breakfast, entrees. You got the American, which is like 2 eggs over easy with your choice of meat, eggs Benedict, Walt's prime rib hash, seared prime rib, fried potatoes, caramelized onions and peppers topped with a fried egg. They have some pancakes, seasonal pancakes, Floridian eggs Benedict, steak and eggs, very similar to the menu at the Wave. For lunch, they have some of the starters include bacon and eggs, which was the off-the-menu appetizer at the Wave, which was delightful. They had it on the menu for a while, then it got taken off, but it was always on secret menu. Bacon and eggs, which is maple, lacquered, pork belly, smoked cheese grits, and a perfect egg. If you're there, get that appetizer. Get that appetizer, and you can thank me later. They also have shrimp cocktail, onion rings, fork and knife salad, baby iceberg wedge. For entrees, crab cake sliders, prime rib sandwich, a classic burger, turkey club, fish sandwich, gourmet grilled cheese. And then they have steak frites, vegetable Wellington, Salisbury steak. Ooh, Salisbury steak, like that. Then for dinner, they have some similar appetizers, but then the entrees, interesting, they call them Steakhouse cuts. You get to pick one meat option, one side, and one sauce. So for entrees, they have beef tenderloin, filet mignon, New York strip, top sirloin, 14-ounce dry-aged pork bone-in rib chop, 12-ounce roasted prime rib, and classic Yorkshire pudding. And then the sides, traditional Steakhouse sides, garlic mashed potatoes, au gratin potatoes, mac and cheese, cream spinach, broccoli, red wine glazed mushrooms, charred asparagus, sauces. They have au pois, wild mushroom, whipped horseradish, cream, chimichurri, red wine, Steakhouse signature béarnaise. They have some chicken, a chicken dish, a vegetable Wellington, a Florida sustainable fish, some cool. Here's the thing. Here's my first take. The desserts. On the desserts, they have a chocolate cake, a creme brulee, creamy brulee, apple tart. They also have ambrosia. Ambrosia. Whoever put ambrosia on this menu should be fired and put on trial, because that stuff is the grossest dessert that's ever been invented. Hey, you know what's pretty great? Fruit. You know what's awful? Cottage cheese. Let's put it together. Dessert's fun. You know what isn't fun? Cottage cheese. Yuck. That's disgusting, and Disney should be ashamed of themselves. My whole opinion on this is I'm intrigued. I loved the Wave. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was great service, solid food. Loved going in the entrance, stuff like that. When they announced they're going to have Steakhouse 71, I was perplexed. Because, for one, the naming convention that they get Steakhouse 71, it harkens back to 1971, the year Walt Disney World was opened. But at the Disneyland Hotel, they had Steakhouse 55, which was a fan favorite for a while, high-end steakhouse. It was called Steakhouse 55 because Disneyland opened 1955. Disney closed Steakhouse 55 last year, but then at the same time, they announced Steakhouse 71 coming to the Contemporary. Weird to close it for one reason. You close it because I guess the concept isn't working, but then you go and you make the other concept at the Contemporary. I don't know. I thought that was interesting. And then I also thought what was interesting was at the Contemporary, you have California Grill, high-end, fine dining, signature restaurant. You have Chef Mickey's, not fine dining, but still very, very expensive, very popular. And then you would have the Wave, which for people staying at the Contemporary was a great place to go to the bar, get an easy reservation, get a normal breakfast, no frills, standard menu with some cool things, but affordable. When they announced that they were going to have a steakhouse, how does a steakhouse fit into an option, a resort that already has 2 high-end options. So that's where I was a little scared. And I'm looking at the menu, and it's not as expensive as I would have thought. It's not Yachtsman Steakhouse prices for the steakhouse that they have. So like if you get the 6-ounce filet mignon, which comes with, one side and one sauce, it's $36. New York strip, $34. The pork chop, $30. Prime rib, $38. Even the sustainable fish is $30. It's expensive. Lunch, much more affordable. Typical sandwiches, here's a $16 grilled cheese, $18 fish sandwich, prime rib sandwich, $19. That's typical sit-down Disney fare, right? But I just get a little nervous when you get those big options. And I know it's kind of weird because I was just talking about how I wasn't that, I didn't think it was that big of a deal, the prices increase in that annual pass. But I like options. I think you should still have an option at a deluxe resort to just have a regular meal that doesn't cost $300 for a family of 4. I do enjoy the steakhouse option of you pick your sandwich, or your cut, and then you pick your side and stuff. I think that's cool. I'm trying those peanut butter and jelly wings. I am. I don't care if they're just for kids. I am trying them. There's some other cool things there. I'm excited to try it out. I think it'll be cool. I think it's a cool space. Very intrigued by it. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't think I'll be going there as much as when I went to the Wave just because of the prices, but if I can get a seat at the bar still, hopefully the bar is just as big because they're completely redoing the inside compared to what the Wave is, but that'll be interesting. And then the restaurant that has been almost opened for 2 years now, Space 220 restaurant at Epcot. Menu has been revealed. From the Disney Parks blog, get ready to let your taste buds take a simulated, oh, come on, guys, flight 220 miles above Earth's surface at Space 220 restaurant. So this is interesting. Space 220 opens September 20th for walk-up diners. Reservations will be available to book on September 20th, with the first reservation date available on September 27th. So I think they're just doing that first week, the 20th through the 27th. They're just testing it. They're going to put a cap on how many people can show up, can walk up. They're going to go from there. So Space 220 is a 2-course prefix meal for lunch, 3-course prefix meal for dinner. Now, I get nervous with more and more places having prefix menus at Disney because it does give you options within the prefix, right? But sometimes I just want to go and have an appetizer, Sometimes I want to go and just have a regular burger and that's it. I don't need to drop all this money to experience, a restaurant or whatever. I don't always need a prefix. And also, we've seen with Be Our Guest, when it went to a prefix, the quality went down because they're just churning and burning. Fewer options, they know how much they have to make, and then it just slides out. It goes quicker. And I think that's what they're going to do with this as well. They want to churn and burn people through this because it's going to be a cool experience. But lunch, for a 2-course prefix meal, $55. That's a lot. That's a lot. And again, I'm going to try it. It'll be cool, but it's going to have to be pretty incredible for me to continue to come back time and time again for $55 for lunch. To start, they have the Big Bang Burrata, Blue Moon Cauliflower, Caesar salad, Galaxy grain salad, space greens, Neptune tartare, starry calamari, And then they have the star course, which is the regular course. They have seared tuna, flat iron steak, blue house salmon, a burger, bolognese. Yeah. So it'll be interesting. I think what is going to be cool about this place is there's a bar component, and they have flight bites. So they have like deviled eggs, blue moon cauliflower, short rib sliders, chicken on waffles, New England lobster roll, starry calamari. So I think that's what I would probably do. I would go in, I would sit at the bar, I'd get the short rib sliders and a beer, experience the elevator that takes you up 220 miles, all that stuff. Because then for dinner, the prefix menu goes from 2-course to 3-course. 3-course prefix, $79. $79. Same liftoffs, same star course. Star course, they have a couple other things. They have an 8-ounce filet mignon, X2 duck, red snapper, short rib. So, the Nova Sweets chocolate cheesecake, that's out of this world. Gelato, sorbet, lemon mousse, carrot cake, sticky toffee pudding. This is an experience kind of place. But what it has to be is it can't just be the Rainforest Cafe or T-Rex Cafe. The food has to be worth $79, just as much as the atmosphere, as that elevator going up, as the storyline and all that stuff. But I do get nervous with places opening as prefix. I know La Crêperie de Paris has a prefix component. You don't have to opt into the prefix thing. I like that. Give me options for sure. But when it opens pretty much exclusively as prefix, I get nervous. I just hope that this isn't kind of the way that Disney is going, because that would suck if all the options start to be prefix. That would be pretty cookie cutter. But whatever. Still super excited for both of those places. I'm going to try it out not as soon as they open, but as soon as I can get there. I'll try out Space 220. I'll try out Steakhouse 71 as well. It's cool stuff. And of course, if you got your annual passes, you'll be going there all the time. Oh boy. There you have it. The first episode of News to Opinion. I might have shared my opinions on these news stories, but I want to hear from you on these news stories as well. What we're going to do is at the top of the show next week, I am going to share your opinions on these news stories. So next week, we're going to start the show by kind of going back, recapping the 3 ones we talked about, and then letting you all share your news stories. And we have 2 ways you can share your opinions with us. The first way is via our brand new Wdw Opinion hotline. We got a hotline, baby. Oh, yeah. So if you call 407-900-6028, 407-900-6028, you can leave a voicemail, and I'll play it on the show next week. You just got to give me your name, where you're calling from, and share your opinion on the news with me. Try to keep it to 2 minutes just so we can get more in. But that'll be really cool. And you can comment on any or all of these news stories. Love to hear your opinions. Again, you can call 407-900-6028. Leave your name, where you're calling from, and your opinions. If you're feeling shy and you don't want to leave a voicemail, no worries. Head over to the Wdw Opinioneers Facebook group at wdwopinion.com/opinioneers. That's OPINIONEERS. And you can comment on the News to Opinion post there. I'll read those comments on the air too. Here's the best part, folks. If I really like your take, I might deem you the opinion of the week, and that means I'm going to send you some sweet WDW opinion stickers in the mail. So if you got an opinion, share it with us by calling 407-900-6028 and leaving your opinion, or by commenting on the post in our Facebook group at wdwopinion.com/opinioneers. Again, 407-900-6028. or wdwopinion.com/OPINIONEERS. Opinions will be read on the show. Opinion of the week is going to get some stickers. Be sure to do that. Again, we're going to try to do this weekly, so look for a new News to Opinion episode next Thursday. And if you have not yet listened to this week's Wdw Opinion Podcast, be sure to check out the show where we interviewed New York Times bestselling author and creator of the Kingdom Keeper series, Ridley Pearson. It's such a good episode. We've been getting a lot of great feedback. Ridley's an awesome guy. It was really, really, really good. It's a great one. You're going to want to check it out. It's in this podcast feed right now. Just scroll down. If you enjoyed today's episode and you're on YouTube, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment letting me know you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel. For those peeps listening on Apple, please be sure to subscribe, rate and review the show on there. I'll be sure to read future reviews of the show as well. If you listen on Spotify, please click the follow button on the show page, as that will help us out as well. If you want to go to Walt Disney World soon, you can reach out to me at Connor, CONOR, at wdwopinion.com. I'm a travel agent. I can help you book a trip. My services are 100% free to use. I'd love to help get you there. I'll share my opinions on your trip planning strategy, all that fun stuff. So you can reach out to me at Connor, CONOR, at wdwopinion.com. That will do it for this week's News to Opinion. The first one is in the books, baby. Have a great rest of your week. I've been Connor Brown, and until next time, keep LTD living the dream, and I'll see you real soon.